That's just Ukraine. We're doing that to Ukraine. We do that to our allies. We do that to our proxies. Iran, as it stands, not a proxy. We would like to make it, but it's not. We tried. We tried with the Shah. We tried to do it with the Shah. People didn't like it. They did a revolution, Islamic revolution. You hear that, folks? They didn't like it. All right. President Trump participates in bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister. Yes, chirping is not praxis. You are not doing praxis. You're just being fucking annoying. Anyway, hold on. What is this? Is this the fascist lady? Yes. Just seen your nudes. Talk about horse. Make me say nah. You did not see my nudes. I don't have any nudes. That's insane. I have guests here. You fucking psycho. All right. Let's get it started. President Trump participates in bilateral meeting with the Prime Minister of Italy. Let's take a look.
Florida State University, Tallahassee, active shooting. I guess it's an active shooter.
What the f is this?
Fully briefed as to where we are right now. It's a shame. It's a horrible thing. Horrible that things like this take place. And we'll have more to say about it later. In the meantime, it's an honor to have the Prime Minister of Italy with us, Prime Minister Meloni, who's doing a fantastic job. I would say that she has taken Europe by storm and highly respected. Everybody loves her and respects her, and I can't say that about many people. And she's become a friend, and we really have a great relationship between Italy and ourselves. And we talked about trade. We talked about many, many things during our luncheon, and she'll be saying a few words, but she's a very special person, and it's nice to have you with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you for your warm welcome. Thank you for this occasion, which is aimed to strengthen our relation, our friendship that comes from very far. You know, today is April 17, and April 17 marks the anniversary of the agreement that allowed Cristoforo Colombo to make his trip. And I say to remember how ancient are our ties, but also to remind that we both share another.
Damn, we got penis Mussolini and vagina Mussolini in one shot. You mean mango Mussolini? Yeah, that's true. The difference, of course, I mean, she is a Mussolini supporter. She was and still is. Trump, on the other hand, I don't know. I don't think he even had like the Mussolini development of initially starting off as like somewhat of a socialist or a prominent figure of like any sort of workers back movement. Donald Trump just straightforwardly came in and was across the board a real estate developer.
Other fight, which is the fight against the woke and ADI.
Was her grandfather? No, that's not Giorgia Meloni. You're thinking of the granddaughter of Mussolini, who I think was in Meloni's party initially. I don't know if she still is. No, the granddaughter of Mussolini still is in Italian politics. But this is a different person. What's funny about at least like Trump also is that while he is very much the same kind of fascist that Adolf Hitler or Mussolini was, unlike Mussolini, he is not making the trains run on time either. He is incompetent through and through. There has been no signature achievement that you can even attribute to him, even if it's like an achievement that is supposed to advance his fascist goals. Every part of this process is completely ridiculous and filled to the brim with incompetent charlatans that want to do harm, but oftentimes get in their own way due to said incompetence.
Ideology that would like to erase our history.
You should interview Jean-Luc Mélenchon. He speaks English and is coming to the USA next week. Yeah, I would love to do that. I don't know where to even reach him, but yeah, that'd be great.
And as I know that we share lots of things on tackling illegal migration, on fighting against synthetic drugs.
Mussolini also didn't make the trains run on time. He just made people afraid to report them late. I mean, I'm just saying, like, there's no grand project here is my point. It's just barbarism, but also incredibly incompetent levels of barbarism, which ironically stops their overarching agenda of implementing a full-throated administrative takeover because of that incompetence. Like an example of this is basically jumping the gun and being like, Mahmoud Khalil has to be deported, right? Initially, they were going to go after student visa holders only and you know, clear that part up and make sure that there were at least like all of the legislative or judiciary hurdles that could have been presented in front of them. They were going to tackle that and then move on to green card holders and then move on to citizens. They just had to jump the gun ahead of time, and now they're being set back by the courts. So now they're accelerating the process of having potentially a constitutional crisis. Same thing goes for the incompetence demonstrated in the Abrego Garcia situation, right? The false deportation there. Like they don't even have the basic competence necessary. So in a way, it presents opportunity to undermine their goals in general.
You know, Italy has been one of the nations that made a plan against fentanyl, for example. But we have been talking about many bilateral topics and things that we can do together, about defense, about economic, about economy, about space, about energy. Italy will have to increase its LNG import. I speak about the civilization.
We want it to stop. We want the to stop. And if we can save those lives, that would be a very good thing. And so we'll see what we can do. And I think we're getting close, but we'll let you know very soon. And you've been very helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you. Any questions?
Mr. President, on Russia, Mr. President, how much longer does Vladimir Putin have to respond to your ceasefire proposal before you put secondary tariffs or sanctions on Russia?
We'll see what that will be. We're going to be hearing from them this week, very shortly actually, and we'll see. But we want it to stop. We want the death and they to stop.
Mr. President, on Jerome Powell, you said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave, even if you ask him.
If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But
Do you believe
I don't think he's. I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late. Always too late. A little slow, and I'm not happy with him. I let him know it, and if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast. Believe me. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, please. Question.
Are you trying to remove him, Mr. President?
Yeah, question.
Mr. President, when you had a judge Mosberg in a case against your administration, said the Constitution does not tolerate willful disobedience of judicial order. Do you agree with that statement?
Well, you're going to have to speak to the lawyers. We have great lawyers. I can tell you this, we're doing a fantastic job of getting criminals out of this country who Biden allowed into the country. Hundreds of thousands of criminals, murderers and drug dealers. And I was elected because of the fact, I would say maybe that was the number one factor, a lot of reasons, the economy, a lot of things. But one of the primary reasons I was elected is because I said, I'm going to get the criminals that he allowed to come into our country so stupidly through open borders. I'm going to get them out. And I got a lot of votes, record-setting numbers of votes, as you know. We won everything. The popular vote, all 7 swing states, we won everything. And that's what the public wanted. That's what I'm doing. But you'll have to speak to the lawyers because it's up to them. Say it.
What do you think of the proposal from
If you take out Powell, the market plunge will make Black Monday look minor. The Fed's separation from the government is one of the more core pillars that keeps the dollars the global reserve. If that goes away, we are in totally uncharted territory. I mean, he's done a lot of unprecedented things, including undermining the persuasive authority of the Supreme Court of the United States. So, and as we've talked about already, he does have a proclivity to molest the money. He loves molestation. But specifically, he will even go so far as to molest the money over and over again, as he has done so in these past couple of weeks. So When everything is uncharted territory, I guess this is just more of said uncharted territory. It's precedented. Andrew Jackson. No, it's not the same circumstances. This is a direct court order from the Supreme Court to the federal government. The Andrew Jackson situation basically was Andrew Jackson not enforcing the Supreme Court's demands against state authority. So in some ways, it is a different and unique new boundary that has been broken, okay? This is a circumstance where the federal government is directly at odds. The action that is being demanded from the Supreme Court as a persuasive authority here is to take action, to take direct action against what they've done so far. It's not like, oh, you have to enforce federal government powers over a state doing violence, for example. You see what I mean? Why is it always the anime heads that can remember all this lore? I don't know what you mean. Anime heads remembering lore? Are you talking about American history? Like constitutional history? You referred to it as though it's an anime lore? That's crazy. How can they misinterpret the ruling so bad? They're not. They are deliberately obtuse. They are acting as though they're misinterpreting the directive that they've gotten from the Supreme Court in an effort to not follow through on the directive of the Supreme Court.
France and UK of a peace mission in Ukraine with soldiers, and do you think that Italy should take part into it?
Well, I think Italy will have to make that determination, but peace missions are always good with me. I'm okay with peace missions. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, have you discussed what areas of cooperation and discussion?
I think Trump ignoring the Supreme Court has a bright side. The president will allow future leftist president to ignore the Supreme Court to pass good policy. No, I love the copium here, dude. You think there's going to be a leftist president, let alone another president after Donald Trump, if he undermines the entirety, not just the Supreme Court, but like undermines the entire structure of the separation of powers and the power that the judiciary holds across the board? Yeah. Just like when the Democrats clearly cast aside the Senate parliamentarian, you know, because the Republicans had done so in the past under Dick Cheney, for example. Oh, wait, they didn't do that. Fuck. I totally forgot. They did not do that. And at the time, I yelled at the Democrats and I said, hey, remember when Dick Cheney and George W. Bush was like, fuck the Senate parliamentarian. I think it was FEMA funds that they wanted to reallocate. Okay. And the Senate parliamentarian was like, you can't do that. And then they were like, okay, well, you're fired. We're going to now reappoint a Senate parliamentarian that will, as a matter of fact, follow along our agenda. And that was almost a decade before Biden. So why did the Democrats not do that? Oh, that's right, because they have no motion. They have no interest, more importantly than that. So, and the irony, of course, is that like we're talking about not only a future leftist president, but just like any elections whatsoever coming down the line, you know? I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to, it might not happen. I do think that we are in the end game here.
With the Prime Minister vis-a-vis Italy and the United States and Europe and the United States. And on China?
We discussed it very briefly. No, we're doing very well with negotiations, I think, with all countries. And Scott could tell you a little bit, but we are doing very well. We have a lot of countries that want to make a deal. Frankly, they want to make deals more than I do. Go ahead, Scott. Would you say something?
Yeah, we've got a process in place. We're working.
You're also pessimistic. Remember the same argument being said in 2016. Cry all you want. We're going to just have him for this term. Maybe if the Dems run another botch campaign, then maybe he's going to be a shitty president. And that's it. Not the end of the USA law. First of all, the end of the USA has nothing to do with Donald Trump. He's just accelerating that process. The end of the USA is happening not because of Donald Trump, but because of the Republican Party and the Democratic Party, both parties upholding the interests of capital owners as opposed to the interests of the citizens, the workers in general. So that is happening no matter what. Okay, every single president prior to Donald Trump has contributed to this process. Donald Trump is simply accelerating the process and doing it in broad daylight in the most incompetent way possible. So that's silly. Also, what the fuck do you mean? Donald Trump lost the election and then did a an unsuccessful insurrection, but then won the election after doing that insurrection and literally pardoned all the people that did the insurrection. Like, I'm not libbed up to constantly talk about January 6th and say this is like the 9/11 of our time. I don't think that's the case, but like, let's be real, dude. This is not normal. What are you saying? This is, in some ways, the expected outcome of years and years of American civil liberties decaying in the aftermath of 9/11. This is the expected outcome of numerous Democratic leaderships not reversing the decisions that Republican leaderships engage in, Republican administrations engage in terms of accelerating the surveillance apparatus, the mechanisms of surveillance of the state, in terms of eroding civil liberties, going from black bagging, random Muslim people in Dearborn and putting them under constant surveillance, to black bagging random people that we think are brown and scary, or black bagging random people that we think present a real threat because they're exercising their First Amendment rights. With Trump facing multiple indictments, why isn't impeaching being discussed as it was during his presidency? I think everyone is just kind of given up on that process. That's what it is. Democrats cleaned the gun, loaded the gun, and are mad at Trump for using the gun. Exactly. Exactly. That is true. I mean, when you think about it, even like all of the institutional allowance given to the pro-Israel lobby and all of these organizations that masquerade as like Jewish advocacy organizations or organizations tasked with like combating anti-Semitism, these organizations have a lot of institutional legitimacy. The Democrats did not even choose to fucking tackle it. Why do you like to watch terrorist propaganda on stream? I mean, what are you supposed to do, chatter? I mean, look at the terrorist. He's right here, you know? We're a nation of terrorists led by the arch terrorist. I have to cover the news, and, you know, the news is terror. There's no choice. What do you want me to do? Not just be like, hey, guys, today we're not going to cover any terrorism whatsoever. We're not talking about Donald Trump. We're not talking about Israel. We're not talking about anybody, okay? Yeah, if I close my eyes to the terrorist regime, the fascist terrorist regime of Donald Trump and its deportation policies, maybe it will go away.
On the big 15
Oh, see, camera pans over, more terrorists.
We had a fantastic meeting with Japan yesterday. I believe they've been called with the EU already. And then we have South Korea coming in next week. And I believe India is also talking. That's moving very quickly.
Go ahead.
Ukraine's President Zelensky has said he has evidence that China is supplying weaponry or ammunition to Russia. Do you have any evidence on those lines? And also, he said we could see a minerals deal signed this week. Is that?
Well, we have a minerals deal, which I guess is going to be signed on Thursday, Scott, next Thursday, soon. And I assume they're going to live up to the deal, so we'll see. But we have a deal on that. No, I have no comment on that. I have no idea. That's his statement, not mine.
Mr. President, there were reports that you don't believe that you made off the Israeli attack on Iranian nuclear facilities. Can you comment on that? Is that accurate?
And they said the attack is what?
This tiny episode is out.
Plan to attack Iranian nuclear facilities.
I wouldn't say waved off. I'm not in a rush to do it because I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death and option. If there's a second option, I think it would be very bad for Iran. And I think Iran is wanting to talk. I hope they're wanting to talk. It's going to be very good for them if they do. And I'd like to see Iran thrive in the future, do fantastically well. I know the Iranian people, they're incredible people. Always have been very smart, very energetic, very successful people. And I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt anybody. I really don't. But Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. It's, pretty simple. It's really simple. We're not looking to take their industry. We're not looking to take their land. All we're saying is you can't have it.
That's just Ukraine. We're doing that to Ukraine. We do that to our allies. We do that to our proxies. Iran, as it stands, not a proxy. We would like to make it, but it's not. We tried. We tried with the Shah. We tried to do it with the Shah. People didn't like it. They did a revolution, Islamic revolution. You hear that, folks? They didn't like it. We made it there. We made them our proxy. They clipped too many. They pulled too many fingernails. That's what the Shah did. The Shah's guys, they were torturous. They were doing too much torture. I told them Shah's a good guy, but radical Islam won.
A nuclear weapon. The deal that was made, with Obama, that deal would have expired already. It was a terrible deal. It would have expired.
Shut the fuck up, you crazy piece of shit. There's nothing left anymore to put sanctions on. Try your best. I like to think that he's saying that to me. I know you're directing that at Trump, but...
And that gave them a clear path to a nuclear weapon. I wouldn't have accepted. That's why I terminated the deal. Number one, it was way too short.
Dude, it was the opposite, by the way. Signature accomplishment of Barack Obama's foreign policy, and Israel straight up came in and was like, no, undermine this right now. And Trump was like, yes, of course, sir. I would love to do that. Thank you for the $100 million, Sheldon Adelson. Of course, I will throw away the the signature foreign policy accomplishment of the Obama administration.
You know, when countries are involved, you don't make short-term deals. These are countries with long lives. And I terminated that. And it was a great termination because it didn't allow us to do anything. Once it terminated, you know what the deal was. It was a terrible deal. Really, one of many terrible deals made by the U.S. But no, I'd like to see Iran thrive. And they can do that, I think, very easily, or they can do it the other way. And the other way is not going to be good for them. It's going to be really bad for them.
Now, the Iran situation is interesting because, according to New York Times reporting, Trump waved off Israeli strike after divisions emerged in his administration. Israel developed plans for attacking Iranian nuclear facilities that would have required U.S. assistance, but some admin officials had doubts. Now, I don't know if this is a process from the New York Times, which is the State Department's favorite newspaper, that seeks to normalize and maybe even sane wash the Trump administration, or but I have no reason to assume that this is fake news, okay? But seemingly Israel had planned to strike Iranian nuclear sites. I definitely believe that, okay? As soon as next month, but was waved off by President Trump in recent weeks in favor of negotiating a deal with Tehran to limit its nuclear program. The very fact that you are hearing about this implies that the administration wanted this to be reported on, okay? I'm just going to mention that real quick. So that should guide you on trying to make an assessment on what the admin is trying to do here, okay? You would not hear about this if the admin didn't want it to be reported. So, but I thought Israel was a foreign nation that is totally separate from America. I thought we had no way of stopping them. Weird. Anyway, in favor of negotiating a deal with Tehran to limit its nuclear program, according to administration officials and others briefed on discussions. Mr. Trump made his decision after months of internal debate over whether to pursue diplomacy or support Israel in seeking to set back Iran's ability to build a bomb at a time when Iran has been weakened militarily and economically. The debate highlighted fault lines between historically hawkish American cabinet officials and other aides more skeptical that a military assault on Iran could destroy the country's nuclear ambitions and avoid a larger war. It resulted in a rough consensus for now against military action, with Iran signaling a willingness to negotiate. The irony, of course, is that Iran would just directly light every oil refinery in its reach, and there's plenty of them, most of them in the region are within its reach, on fire. That's what they've said. If you come after the Iranian energy program, the Iranian government has made it clear. We will go after every single oil refiner in the region. We will destroy the global economy. This is something that nobody wants. This is the real, alongside the Trump administration's ambitions towards nuking global markets in general and global trade in general, would destroy the entire planet. Okay? Israeli officials have recently developed plans to attack Iranian nuclear sites in May. They were prepared to carry them out, and at times were optimistic that the United States would sign off. Just fucking insane, okay? You might as well go with the Samson option at this point. You know what I mean? Like, This is literally just the Samson option on steroids. That's what this is. This is just a way to go, hey, you know what, dude? Let's go. Let's just ruin this whole thing for the Greater Israel Project, I guess. The goal of the proposals, according to the officials briefed on them, was to set back Tehran's ability to develop a nuclear weapon by a year or more. Almost all the plans would have required U.S. help, not just to defend Israel from Iranian retaliation, but also to ensure that an Israeli attack was successful, making the United States a central part of the attack itself. What is the Samson option? The Samson option is a Israeli military of deterrence. Here is the Wikipedia page for it. Is Israel's deterrent strategy of massive retaliation with nuclear weapons as a last resort against a country whose military has invaded and or destroyed much of Israel. Commentators have also employed the term to refer to situations where non-nuclear, non-Israeli actors have threatened conventional weapons retaliation. The name is a reference to biblical Israelite judge Samson, who pushed apart the pillars of Philistine temple, bringing down the roof and killing himself and thousands of Philistines who had captured him. Normal stuff, you know? Normal stuff from the Nazi country. When the Leahy military group were discussing ways to assassinate General Evelyn Barker, the British Army commander in Mandatory Palestine, a young woman volunteered to do the assassination as a suicide bombing. She said, "Let my soul die with the Philistines," as a reference to the Samson story in the Hebrew Bible. Other members of the group rejected her offer. Of course, there is nuclear ambiguity that must be mentioned here. Israel has, from what I recall, never admitted to having nukes, even though, remember when a State Department official actually leaked America's surveillance on Israel when they were monitoring Israeli retaliation efforts against Iran? And they openly, you know, the American government officially recognizes that, of course, Israel has nukes. Everybody knows Israel has nukes, and Israel operates like they have nukes. They have nukes. It's just, it's not official technically that they have nukes, but they do. Everybody knows that they have nukes. The Samson option in and of itself is, you know, a part of that process to say that, like, if we feel threatened, we will nuke the planet. That's what it is. No, everyone knows Israel has multiple nukes, okay? Israel has already deployed one nuke, the content nuke. I wish. First of all, I wish their nukes were duds like the content nuke, okay? I wish. That would be awesome. Okay, that would be fantastic. Unfortunately, that is not the case. I think they have very real nukes, not the fake kind. Anyway, for now, Trump has chosen diplomacy over military action. In his first term, he tore up the Iran nuclear deal negotiated by the Obama administration. But in his second term, eager to avoid being sucked into another war in the Middle East. Yeah, he's really eager. He's so eager not to be sucked into another war in the Middle East that he is fantasizing about deploying ground forces into Yemen directly to have American military die in the region so that they can defend Israel's bloody conquest. What a fucking crock of shit. God damn it, the New York Times, once again, brilliant paper of record. Thank you to the Gray Lady. I must say, thank you to the Gray Lady. You are fantastic for this. You are phenomenal. Let's keep sane washing Donald Trump and entertaining the notion that this guy is actually a peaceful dove. He has opened negotiations with Tehran, giving it a deadline of just a few months to negotiate a deal over his nuclear program. This is what I fucking expect from Fox News. This is like Fox News is supposed to say this. Like, he has escalated the bombing campaign in Yemen, okay? He took Operation Prosperity Guardian and basically did the entirety of that Operation Prosperity Guardian, which was a failure, in a matter of 20 days, as opposed to over the course of like multiple months, okay? He dumped that level of payload over the span of a couple days. Ridiculous. Is the ceasefire in Gaza part of the Iran talks? Sorry if it's a dumb question. Potentially. I doubt it though. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think that Iran is ambitious an actor that is like truly interested in the emancipation of Palestinians, as opposed to wanting to use the existing and understandable militancy against Israel as a way to undermine its foreign adversary in the region. I think that as a state, they have primary goals here and secondary goals here, and I don't think that it's like they are as invested in Palestinian emancipation as one would think or one would suggest. So, speaking to reporters, on Thursday, Mr. Trump took issue with the idea that he waved off Israel but acknowledged and negotiated with Iranians was his preferred course of action. He added that he was not in a rush to support military action against Iran, but reiterated that he did not want Tehran to have a nuclear weapon. I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death, Mr. Trump said. That's my first option. If there's a second option, I think it would be very bad for Iran, and I think Iran is wanting to talk. So this is Donald Trump entertaining the peace through strength messaging that he always engages in, which is that he is saying, like, we'll sick our rabid attack dog on you, so please talk to us instead. We can be more reasonable actors. That's basically what he's saying. But judging by what he has done so far, obviously Iran is a different kind of conflict as opposed to like Yemen, the poorest country on the planet. So the restraint coming from the Trump administration in this regard is the same type of restraint that the Biden administration had. It is not born out of like ideological differences, but rather born out of the understandable immediate consequences of global instability and potentially global war, global collapse. Okay? The Turkish people will starve, but they will not accept statelessness. And if the nuclear bomb in the Incirlik base is to be removed from Cuba so that the Soviet Union we took from does not threaten Turkey, Turkey will switch to a nuclear agreement with its biggest brother, Pakistan Islamic State, and Turkey already has the capacity while the Iranians are... Dude, what are you smoking on? All the Iranians are saying developer Aselsan is in a position to do it directly. You think the Turkish government would ever be in agreement with Iran? Are you kidding me? They are literally... Hello? What? Turkey is as you correctly defined, Turkey is a NATO country, second largest standing military in NATO. Turkey has American nukes inside of American military bases. Incirlik is one of them. You are out of your fucking mind if you think that Turkey, you are smoking on so much crack cocaine if you think, one, Turkey is against Israel, okay, and doesn't have like regional goals that sometimes might be at odds with Israel that America will sort out for them, for the record. But Turkey in and of itself is not anti-Israel at all. You are out of your fucking mind if you think so. Turkey is very much pro-Israel. Turkey could cut off the entirety of Israel's energy if they wanted to, literally today. No, Turks ally Israel destroy Iranian nuclear program, yes. Look at Syria. What are you talking about? Anyway. Damn, I thought Turkey was base for a sec. Yeah, no, they're not. They're not base. It's just optics. Turkey would rather conquer the Middle East for itself, just like they are with northern Iraq. Dude, no, there is no Turkey conquering anything without America's go-ahead, okay? Turkey, in a way that is not dissimilar to Israel, is a part of America's grand design in the region. That's it. Anyway, in a statement delivered in Hebrew after the meeting, Mr. Netanyahu said an agreement with Iran would work only if it allowed the signers to go in, blow up the facility, dismantle all the equipment under American supervision with American execution. That's fantastic. I like that Netanyahu is treating Iran, the nation of Iran, as though it is the fucking Gaza Strip at this point. Fantastic. Yeah, totally. This seems normal. This seems like a normal way to talk about a foreign adversary that definitely has a lot of retaliatory capabilities in their arsenal.
Well, Jensen's an amazing guy. He's become a friend of mine, and I don't know, he's a person that's very proud of our country. He loves our country. I'm not worried about Jensen at all.
Mr. President, we're holding you in contempt. Will you take steps to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States and put him in front of a judge?
Well, I'm not involved in it. I'm going to respond to that.
You're the president, big dog. What do you mean you're not fucking involved in it? What an insane thing to say.
Saying you'll have to speak to the lawyers, the DOJ. I've heard many things about him, and we'll have to find out what the truth is. But I will say this, you know, we were inundated by millions of people, many millions of people during the Biden administration. They say 21 million. And a big percentage of those are criminals, serious criminals. I'm not saying just criminal because they came into the border illegally. I'm saying they're criminals at the highest level, murderers. Many of those people murdered more than one person, and they're on the loose. And I was elected to get rid of those criminals, to get them out of our country. or to put them away, but to get them out of our country. And I don't see how judges can take that authority away from a president. We've done an amazing job, Tom Homan, Kristi Noem. We have done an amazing job. Nobody can believe the job we've done. Far greater than what I said. I mean, I got elected on that, but we've done much better. We have right now 99% border. It's a 99%. Nobody thought that would even be. Nobody's coming through our border practically. 2 weeks ago, we had 9 people come through, all for medical reasons. We allowed them. We brought them through because one had a heart attack, one had something else, and, all for medical reasons. We have a great border. We had a great border 4 years ago, but we have a border now that's even tighter, and we did that in a matter of weeks. And no.
Yeah. 20 million serial murderer and rapists were entering the border under the Biden administration is an insane statement, obviously, on its face. And it's one that you can immediately recognize as false. That would mean that like 1 out of every, I don't know, 15 people is a bloodthirsty monster, okay, that entered the national boundaries in the last fucking 6 years. Okay? It's ridiculous. It's so psychotic. I mean, it's just pure racism. I don't know why I'm trying to explain the logic behind it. It's just pure, unfettered, unrestricted white supremacist thought. That's it. That's all this is.
We have to. We need to get murderers and drug dealers and people that were in jail for horrible. You know, they released jails, Georgia, from all over the world and released them. Not just South America, all over the world, the Congo and Africa. Many, many people come from the Congo. I don't know what that is, but they came from the Congo.
You don't know what the Congo is? Nice.
And all over the world they came in, opened their jails. Venezuela, practically all of their prisoners released into our country. We took them because we had an incompetent administration called the Biden administration. And to think what they've done to our country. And I'm doing that. But we have activist judges that don't want murderers to be sent out of our country. They don't want killers and drug dealers and drug lords and people from mental institutions. They want them to stay in our country, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that's the liberal way, or as they call it nowadays, the progressive way. But I don't think it's the way that our country believes, and that's why I won in a landslide. Okay.
Mr. President, you did say that you were confident these deals will be done, but you also said that you're in no rush. Americans are seeing prices rise. They're seeing it on their bills. How long can they expect that pain to last?
So they've already seen it get much better, because if you were truthful, which you're not, you know, I know you very well, you have gasoline that hit $1.98 yesterday in a couple of states. You have gasoline's way down. The price of oil has dropped substantially. The price of groceries are substantially down. The price of eggs. You know, when I came in, they hit me with eggs. I just got there. I was here for 1 week, and they started screaming at me, eggs have gone through the roof. I said, I just got here. I was there for 7 days, and I hear that eggs have gone through the roof before I got there. And they were screaming at me, the press, the fake news, like you're fake. And the fake news is screaming at me, like, about eggs. I said, I've only been here. This is my 7th day.
I just
and they
got
were right.
here.
They went up 87%.
Why
you
do you
couldn't get them.
expect
They
me
said,
to
you
fix
won't have
the
eggs
eggs?
for Easter, which is coming up. Happy Easter, everybody. You won't have eggs for Easter. And we did an unbelievable job. And now eggs are all over the place, and the price went down 92%. And our Commissioner of Agriculture, Brooke, has done a fantastic job. They really have done a fantastic job. So prices haven't gone up. The only thing that's gone up, actually, is interest rates, because we have a Federal Reserve Chairman that is playing politics. Somebody that I've never been very fond of, actually. But he's playing politics. Interest rates should be down now. They should be coming down. In Europe, as you know, they reduced them, I guess 7 times. It looks like they're going to reduce them again and again and again. But our guy wants to play cute. But interest rates are pretty much even. Maybe they went up just a slight bit, but that's the only thing. But that's because of the Federal Reserve, because they're not very smart people.
Do you
Go ahead. Yes, sir, please. Go ahead, please.
Do you regret nominating him, Jerome Powell?
Look, in the first 4 years, we had the greatest economy in the history of our country. Stock market went up 88 points. I think he's terrible, but I can't complain because we had the most successful administration economically in the history of our country.
I like that. A big part of the reason why there's so much market volatility is because of how unstable Trump is, right? He's shown that time and time again with his actions. So the idea that he would take the unprecedented step of firing Jerome Powell only to put an administration lackey in that position, while he has shown time and time again that like his administration's lackeys are simply doing whatever he wants them to do, which causes that same instability. Like the idea that this would somehow stabilize the market and instill confidence is hilarious. It is fucking hilarious. He's like, I want to keep molesting the money. I love molestation. The money will be molested over and over again. I will do anything I want.
I think we're going to do even better this time because you will see that the numbers that we're taking in are astronomical. We're taking in tremendous amounts of money with the tariffs. We were treated very unfairly on trade, and countries are having a hard time getting used to the fact that they can't do that to us anymore because we have a real president. We have a president that understands what it's all about. We had presidents that in some cases were smart, but they didn't understand business, or they didn't like business, or, you know, it wasn't like a priority. And then you had like the last administration, the only thing they were good at was cheating in elections. That's about all they could do. They couldn't do anything. They were useless. They were incompetent. Worst administration in the history of our country. Worse than Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter died a happy man. You know why? Because he wasn't the worst president. Joe Biden was. So I think you're going to see some fantastic numbers when this all happens. It's happening now. I mean, everybody wants to make a deal. And if they don't want to make a deal, we'll make the deal for them. Because that's what's going to happen. We'll just say, this is what it is. But we want to listen to everybody. And I think I can say for Scott and the other people that are working on it that we're listening, and we're going to be very fair to people. But, you know, we're the one that really sets the deal, and that's what we'll be doing. Okay? Yeah, go ahead, please. Please.
A question to our Prime Minister.
Oh, you have a great Prime Minister. You're so lucky. Yes.
In italiano?
Oh, yes, that's right.
Okay.
I'm not sure that would be.
Presidente Meloni, volevo sapere cosa pensava del fatto che il Presidente Trump ha considerato responsabile Zelensky della guerra in Ucraina, e poi se avete parlato delle spese militari e qual è il limite massimo a cui ha detto che può arrivare l'Italia, le percentuali delle spese militari.
Abbiamo parlato dei limiti massimi a cui può arrivare l'Italia, abbiamo parlato del fatto che l'Italia sta mantenendo i suoi impegni perché arriverà al prossimo.
Okay, what is happening? What I don't even.
Lei sa come la insieme essere
Beautiful. What the hell was that?
That
What did
sounded
you say,
beautiful.
please? No, I mean, it sounded great.
It was about.
It was beautifully presented, but maybe I could hear what you said. Please, go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it was about asking.
Guys,
Hold it, hold it.
Have some respect, please.
Thank you. No, wait.
JD, God, he's such a bitch. He is such a bitch. Guys, have some respect, please. I hate his like mealy-mouthed, liberal-ass fucking attitude as he tries to maintain this like fascist ideology. As he tries to like participate in the fascist takeover of the administrative state. He does it in the most like woke, gay, liberal way possible. Have you said thank you? God, he is so annoying. He is such a libtard through and through on the optics. Like it's not. This is part of the reason why I think he will never have broad recognition as like a powerful figure that will continue the Trump agenda. Like he has definitely more capability, like better capabilities as an orator than like Ron DeSantis. but he is just as fucking annoying almost as Ron DeSantis.
Wait. I want to hear what you said. Go ahead.
Yeah, Prime Minister Meloni was asked what she thinks about the fact that President Trump holds Zelensky responsible for the war in Ukraine. And Prime Minister Meloni answered, well, actually, we have no, and also if you talked about the military spending, and the raising of the military spending,
yeah.
And the first thing Prime Minister Meloni said is that no, actually we didn't talk about the raise in military spending. Of course, Italy will keep payments with 2%, and then we will see, because we are absolutely aware of the fact that it is very important to.
Well, I will do
defense
that.
Is very
wait. I will do that.
Important.
They've been asking if we decide on another percentage about the defense spendings,
NATO,
and I said
NATO.
yes, NATO, and I said that Italy is reaching the 2% as it was already decided. We didn't speak about a specific other percentage, and
smashed to smithereens, laying on the ground in a million pieces, getting hit by rockets, bombs, and bullets. And so I'm not happy with him, and I'm not happy with anybody involved. I think it's a war. I know it's a war. It didn't happen
The
for 4
Steiny
years.
podcast is
No,
out. I
of course
know.
he did. You graduated.
Have you
Never even
considered
thought.
graduation?
And I spoke to
We did.
President
Why am I
Putin about it a
being
lot. It was
personal?
the apple of his eye, but there's no way he would have ever gone in if I were president. Now I'm trying to get him to stop because, as you know, Russia's a lot bigger. It's a bigger military force. And if you're smart, you don't go involved and get involved in wars that you can blame the man that was sitting in this seat, Biden. He didn't know what the hell was going on. But I can guarantee you that, and everybody agrees to it, if I were president, that war would have never taken place. I'm not blaming him. But what I am saying is that I wouldn't say he's done the greatest job. Okay? I'm not a big fan. I really am. I'm not a big fan. Go ahead. Go ahead.
He let out an audible sigh. He's like a fucking Italian again.
Europeans are parasites. Yeah. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't said. I don't know.
He didn't say it.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Actually. Go ahead, please. Go ahead. No, wait. Next. Go.
Thank you. Prime Minister Meloni just said we want to make Europe great.
He absolutely has said that. What a pussy. He's like, oh, I never said it. Don't know what you're talking about. Don't know. Don't believe it.
And we want to do it together with the
Sure.
West, yeah.
Did you, I guess that's what you said, Mr. Prime Minister, how are you going to do that? And are you looking to do it to counter China, who is really trying to gather influence against the United States with the help of Australia?
I hope that Europe is going to be great again. Europe is going through a lot of problems, and a lot of it's having to do with immigration. And I'm not a big fan of Europe and what they've done with immigration at all. And I think they got to get smart because really hurt by what they've done with immigration. Now, I'll say this, that the Prime Minister has taken a very tough stand on immigration. And I commented to her before. I said, I wish more people would be like you having to do with that subject, but they're not. Europe is very important to me. Europe is very important to the world. I want Europe to do very well. I think they have to get a lot smarter on immigration.
But we are beginning doing it. You've all seen now the policies of the European Union in the last, let's say, 2.5 years have been changing. Okay, at the beginning we were talking only about how we were redistributing illegal migrants coming to Italy. Now we are talking mainly about how to stop illegal migration, work with the countries of origin and transit, and to return people. The European Commission just did the new rules about repatriations and things like that. So things are changing, thanks also to the example that Italy brought in lowering the rates of illegal migration. So they we are working now together. So I'm optimistic on that.
Good. I hope so.
Why does your mic sound like it's thundering outside? What are you talking about? It's not me, dude. It's their microphone in the White House. That's not coming from my mic. It's coming from their mic.
Go ahead, please.
Also, it's literally, you know the answer, dude. DEI or die. They fired all the gay sound engineers, okay? Clearly that is what's going on here. What remained of the competence of the administrative state was held together by woke, okay? Make no mistake. These guys came in and they were like, no more trans people, no more gay people, no more black people, no more brown people. And lo and behold, look what happened, okay? The markets are in shambles. Planes are falling out of the fucking skies, okay? There's no competent sound engineering happening in this goddamn room, all because of woke. They took woke away, and here we are.
Go ahead.
I'd like to ask President Meloni if you have discussed the option of starting deal with Italy on satellite communications, and President Trump, if you want to see the Google company growing up.
The Google what?
The Google company.
What about
Google
it?
business. If you want to see it growing up. Separate.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, well, we didn't discuss about Starlink. We've been discussing about defense space. We will work together also in the Mars missions. So there are big things to do together, but we didn't discuss it.
No, tariffs are making us rich. We were losing a lot of money under Biden, trillions of dollars, trillions on trade. And now that whole tide has turned. We're making a lot of money. We're taking in a lot of money. Don't forget, we're taking in.
We have not done that. That's not a thing that has happened so far. I mean, one might even argue that that's not how tariffs work in general, because it ends up being, I mean, it is an entry fee, which you pay as a consumer, because that price increases the price of goods that you're purchasing. So when he says like we're taking in a lot of money, he means like from you in the form of a universal sales tax. But of course, they haven't done that. They haven't done that at all yet. So he's lying about how tariffs work, or maybe he's oblivious to how tariffs work, probably a little bit of both. But he's also lying about the fact that tariffs have brought in a great deal of revenue so far. CBP says the latest tariffs have generated $500 million, well below Trump's estimate. U.S. Customs and Border Protection told CNBC the department has collected more than $500 million under Trump's latest tariffs. Trump has repeatedly said the United States is taking in $2 billion per day from the tariffs. CBC says the average $250 million a day was collected even during the glitch that impacted the freight already on the water. This is what I was talking about when I said there was a glitch. Also, I do want to mention something here, but it's important to recognize this. Since April 5th, CBP has collected over $500 million under the new reciprocal tariffs, contributing to more than $21 billion in total tariff revenue from 15 presidential trade actions implemented since January 20th. This is not revenue collected from foreign nations. This is revenue collected from companies that are paying an entry fee, American corporations that are paying an entry fee to import goods into the country. Okay, so this is currently coming out of the pockets of U.S. importers and will most likely end up coming out of your pockets because they're going to want to maintain their profit margins. And therefore, in an effort to maintain their profit margins, they're going to carry over that cost to you, the American consumer. That's it. So when they talk about $500 million worth of tariffs revenue, they mean $500 million worth of extra taxes. $500 million of increase in taxes. Oh, actually, probably even more, as a matter of fact, because other companies that aren't even impacted by the tariffs will adjust their rates to the market. You're fear-mongering? What? 44-month subscriber. The only thing you should be fearing is the top of the hour ad break that sometimes comes 13 minutes after the top of the hour, except you should fear no more because you obviously will be subscribed. No tariffs here. it's still $6 a month or free in the form of a Twitch Prime. As long as you have a Twitch Prime account or Amazon Prime account that you connect to your Twitch Prime account, you can get one free Prime subscription a month. Double got 'em, not running the ad break, but you can still subscribe. Is the best way to show your support for the broadcast. Ad breaks are not back. I am joking. I will not be running the ad, but you can still subscribe to support the broadcast. Totally voluntary. I just rose from my nap at this. Yeah, sometimes it's fun. It's fun to. You're exaggerating. Tariffs being bad, bro. Debated. Get debated. Yeah, you got me. Anyway, even during the brief glitch, CBP average 250 million day revenue stream remained uninterrupted. Trump has repeatedly said the United States is taking in $2 billion per day from tariffs, including revenues directly resulting in a so-called reciprocal tariffs. The most recent data released Monday by the Treasury Department shows the department's daily statement of total deposits listed under customs and certain excise taxes at $305 million. All tariffs are collected by U.S. Customs at the point of entry. This is all of the tariffs combined, not the latest tariffs that Donald Trump is touting as bringing in $2 billion of revenue a day.
25% on cars, 25% on steel, 25% on aluminum, 10% baseline. We put penalties on China for sending us fentanyl. We put penalties on Mexico and Canada, 25% for allowing fentanyl and allowing the borders to be weak. Now we're taking in billions and billions of dollars while I sit here and talk to you. And we didn't take in anything before other than the tariffs that I put on previous to Biden, which were the tariffs I put on China, where we took in up until this point probably $700 billion. They were Trump tariffs. He tried to weaken them. He did everything he could. You know, he got paid money by China, right? The family got paid money. He did. And so I don't know, maybe that was the reason or maybe it wasn't. But he tried to weaken them, but he couldn't because there was so much money that his budgets, you know, they couldn't stand not doing it. I took in the up till this point, my tariffs on China. Nobody ever took in 10 cents from China. No other president took in 10 cents. I took in more than $700 billion from China. So we're doing very well. I mean, our country's doing very well. They had a bad report today from one of the healthcare companies that had an impact on the stock market. But this isn't about that. This is really, we're building a base. We're building a country like no other. And again, I had the strongest economy in the history of our country by far, history of any country probably, but the history of our country in 4 years. And I think this has a chance to be much better.
Can you just clarify on the mineral field? Will that be signed here at the White House with Ukraine on Thursday? Will President Zelensky be coming here for that?
I don't know exactly. I'm going to leave that to Scott. What do you think? Where would it be signed and when?
Yeah, we're still working on the details. We're shooting for around April 26th.
Is there any more detail that you could tell us about what's in that deal and how it came together?
It's substantially what we'd agreed on previously. When the president was here, we had a memorandum of understanding. We went straight to the big deal, and I think it's an 80-page agreement, and that's what will be signed.
President Trump, on rate cuts, can you clarify on rate cuts? Do you intend to seek Powell's firing if he doesn't change his stance on rate cuts? Or is that on the table? Or is it
well, I think he should do the rate cuts because I think if Europe has done it, it puts us at a disadvantage to Europe. I mean, he plays right into their hands. So I think he should do the rate cuts. We don't have really inflation now. I just said the major things are going down. Oil is great. Oil is way ahead of schedule. And that's because of our policies. But oil is down into the $60, $65 range now per barrel. And I told you in certain states we have less than $2 for gasoline. And food is down. Groceries, as we call it, are down. Other than interest rates, everything's down. Interest rates are pretty flat. They're not. It's not that they're up, but we should be better than flat. We should. If he would lower the interest rate, I think it would have a good impact on that too. But the costs are down. We have very little inflation. I would say we have essentially no inflation. Hard to have inflation when oil goes down, and oil goes down. When Biden came in, oil went through the roof. That's what caused our problem. That and his very dumb spending. But when the oil prices go down, and they have gone down a lot, we've gotten it down really good. We've opened it up and we've gotten them down. And that means that people driving cars are going to be paying $2 and $2.50 instead of $4.50. And, you know, even at the end, they tried just for the purpose of the election to get it down. But they had really lost that sucker. That was really, it was not good. But if they had won, oil right now would be at $7 or $8 because of their policy. And we're going to be at about $2. Could be even a little bit less than that. And you're starting to see it. So I don't.
One of the most fascinating things that Donald Trump says, in an endless sea of fascinating things that he says, is groceries. Whenever Donald Trump talks about groceries, he sounds like a fucking alien. He'll be like, the concept of grocery, a word, a term that people use. And I don't know if it's because, like, he's just so rich that he's never actually fucking went out to shop for his own groceries. So, like, he just thinks it's a thing that people do. He's never encountered it. But it's such a funny thing that he says that I feel like more people don't get weirded out by. Or the concept of groceries, as they call it, as I call it, beautiful. Many people are talking about grocery. I don't know what it is. Old-fashioned word. No one uses it any longer. He's never done grocery shopping, so he thinks it's like a technical term. He's been in politics for years. There's no way he doesn't know what groceries are. Some weird recent hyperfixation. No, of course he knows what groceries are. I just feel like maybe it's the way he talks. You know how I have like sentence modifiers to extend my train of thought when I'm bobbing and weaving in the same way that this fucking asshole is? And in a lot of instances, me cursing, or there's just like certain phrases that I always slap in between statements, right? And I feel like for Donald Trump, he does like he does that thing when he's like talking about groceries, as they call it. Like, that's just him trying to maintain his train of thought, and he's just enhancing the sentence that way, just slapping on a couple words, and it comes across like he is truly alien to the phenomena of groceries.
I don't know how you can have inflation when oil has come down quite a bit, and I would say the Fed really owes it to the American people to get interest rates down. That's the only thing he's good for, and he would have an effect on that if he lowered them. And I think at some point he will. He's going to have a lot of political.
I'm genuinely confused why Trump is fucking everything up so bad. Is it just money? No, he just sucks. He's impotent. He does not care about what happens to the average American. That much is clear. That's it. Those are the reasons. And also, he's hell-bent on destruction. He has petty grievances that he will address no matter what the cost is. And seemingly, no one is interested in stopping him. No one in his administration this time around is interested in maintaining a loyalty to the state or to the regulatory bodies. Like last time, it was a leaky faucet in there, you know? There were people who would constantly come out and be like, nah, we're not doing this, or leak information to the press. Now, his entire goal, which perfectly aligns with Project 2025, mind you, is to make sure that every aspect of the administrative apparatus is loyal subjects of the God King, the Holy Emperor. So this allows him to behave in the insane ways that he wants to behave. This gives him a lot more opportunity than last time to, in the words of Felix Biederman, molest the money.
Pressure, you know, they are political also. And I think there's a lot of political pressure for him to lower interest rates. Okay?
Yeah, this is a big point of contention here. He wants Jerome Powell to lower interest rates. He's like, you gotta lower him. You gotta lower him. We need more free money. That's what he's doing. He's like, I'll fuck up the economy. If you don't give me free money, I'll fuck it up. I'll fire you. I need more free money. Money, money, money. Breaking news, Trump takes multiple reporter questions while hosting. And Giorgia Meloni in the cabinet room. Why do we care about the Italy prime minister? What do you mean? It has nothing to do with Giorgia Meloni. It's just Donald Trump does conferences every day, and it's our favorite part of the day where he'll have a global leader sit there as he answers ridiculous fucking questions in the most ridiculous way possible.
She's really good. Why don't you stay maybe on a lot of people? I was going to say you might stay on the other side.
Weird, gross, ew, yuck. As I've said before, okay, there are deflationary mechanisms that the state can engage in. Okay, on the one hand, you have monetary policy. On the other hand, you have fiscal policy. But fiscal policy has to be conducted by the legislative body. Fiscal deflationary policy requires higher taxes. And I don't mean higher sales taxes, which has an inflationary aspect, especially if done by way of tariffs. I mean higher taxes take out money out of the market, specifically from the super wealthy. This would have a deflationary impact. But considering that we have no way of ever engaging in legislative action from the legislative body that is actually going to increase taxes specifically on the wealthy, it's just never going to happen. The only tool you have at your disposal is the monetary policy. That's precisely the reason why the interest rates have not come down. It's the only mechanism that is independent that can try and control the economy. Try and control inflation. Trump, on the other hand, has a different attitude about all of this. He wants the fake money to keep pouring in. He wants it to be free. He wants people to feel like they have more money in their pockets. He wants Jerome Powell to lower interest rates.
Okay, thank you very much. And we're going to be seeing you in a few minutes, right after lunch, for a press conference in the Oval Office. And I assume you'll all be there. It's the same group. If you had a question or so for the Prime Minister, please, you could ask. Anybody have a question? Okay, good. Then we'll just end it right now.
Prime Minister, you have said that the president's tariffs are wrong. Do you still believe that the United States is a reliable...
They always try to help.
It could only be her.
Should the European Union still believe that the United States is a reliable trade partner?
Well, I'm here exactly to work for make the West stronger. For I believe in the West unity, and I think simply we have to talk
She
and
believes
find
in the
ourselves.
president. She believes in the president.
Also, and find ourselves in the best middle way to grow together. That's why I'm here. So, if I wouldn't think it's a reliable partner, I wouldn't be here.
We have a very good relationship together. We have a very good relationship.
To follow up, Mr. President, what if there is not a trade deal with the EU by the time of the end of your 90-day pause on reciprocal?
Oh, there'll be a trade deal, 100%. Oh, well, you think there won't be? Of course there'll be a trade deal. Very much. They want to make one very, very much, and we're going to make a trade deal. I fully expect it, but it'll be a fair deal.
Are they on your priority list?
Everybody's on my priority list.
Mr. President, do you plan to meet with the President at you?
Say it.
Do you plan to meet with
Wait, one at a time, please.
wait.
No. No. You, and then we'll.
Do you plan to meet with the President of the EU, Ursula von der Leyen? Do you plan to have other meetings with EU leaders as well?
Many. We had a meeting yesterday with Japan. As you know, we've had numerous talks, very, very, at the highest level, frankly, with other countries. Yeah, we're doing very well, and we're moving along on trade very well. The United States was ripped off and taken advantage of by every country in the world, practically. I mean, I have to say practically, but just about everyone. That's not going to happen anymore, but we're going to make fair deals.
President Trump, given talks with Japan and Italy this week, do you expect to announce an initial trade deal with any of these countries by next
At a
week?
certain point, yeah, we're in no rush. We're in no rush. You have to understand we're getting right now 25% on cars, 25% on steel, 25% on aluminum. We're getting a 10% baseline. We took that down just because it was, the appropriate thing to do until we decide what the number will be. And we're, taking in a lot of money, which we've never done before, frankly. With Biden, we were losing a fortune on trade. But we're moving along very nicely, and we're going to end up with a baseline of a substantial number, which we never got anything. The United States never got anything until I came along, and then I put very substantial tariffs on China, if you remember. And we took in hundreds of billions of dollars. But then we had a rigged election, and it was just one of those little things, and it got away from us because Biden allowed every country in the world to rip off the United States, and I'm here to save our country.
Mr. President, on China, Mr. President, you said you have
Yeah, please.
You have said in the past that you aren't worried about allies closer to China as a result of your tariffs. And this week we saw Chinese President Xi Jinping visit with 3 of our allies. Should you be worried that they're growing closer?
No.
Mr. President, will you pick up the phone?
Nobody can compete with us. Nobody.
You said they have a good relationship with President Xi. Why not pick up the phone and call him and make a deal?
Oh, we're going to make a deal. We'll have a deal. I think we have
Mr. President?
I think we're going to make a very good deal with China.
Do you plan to reach out to him and call him?
I think that you will see we'll make a very good deal with China.
Mr. President Trump, Mr. President, you told me avoiding Marine One a couple of months ago. I like her very much regarding Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni. Will she be the one to mediate your relationship with Europe, do you think?
Well, I do like her very much. I think she's a great prime minister. I think she's doing a fantastic job in Italy. We're very proud of her. I knew her right from the beginning. I knew her as a very early prime minister, and I knew she had great talent. She's one of the real leaders of the world, and I'm very proud to be with her. I can't do better than that, right?
Yes, that's fantastic. Okay, we can close the press conference.
We should end the press conference. Yeah, please, go ahead.
Prime Minister, how quickly can you raise your defense spending?
Oh, well, Italy is the of the nation.
Once again, DEI or die.
2% as was requested.
It'll go up. Yeah.
Yes,
It'll go up.
and then Europe. And then Europe, as you know,
It's never enough.
Europe,
It's never.
Europe, as you know, is committed to do more, is working on tools to allow and help the member states in increasing the defense spending. And we are convinced that
What is
everyone
this?
has to do more.
Prime Minister, are you ready? Are the retaliatory tariffs that were passed before and then suspended still on the table?
No, sorry, please repeat it.
The retaliatory tariffs that the European Commission passed and then suspended, are they still on the table if you cannot make a deal with President Trump?
I'm sure we can make a deal, and I'm here to help on that. I cannot deal in the name of the European Union. My goal